Hey guys, today I'll be showing you how to color grade a scene from a day scene to a night scene. I have my clip basically ready. I have not textured it or anything, it's just simple color grading. Some basic guidelines I like to give you is that this is purely experimental. It can depend upon different scenes. Do not copy paste any values, but try to understand what I've done and try to understand the workflow of this. So first of all, we need to separate these layers of the clip. What I mean by this is masking out the foreground, the midground, and the background. So in this clip, the background is the sky and these distant hills. The midground can be this character and the foreground can be this grassland, as you can see. So I'm just gonna quickly mask out these 4 or 5 layers separately. So as you can see, I've masked out the 4 layers: the character, the grass, the distant hills, and the sky. So you have to put the character above all of them because this is in focus and we want the grading on this on the top. I've just put a rough mask for the sake of tutorial. You can make it accurate if you want to. This totally depends upon you. So I'm just gonna solo out the sky for a bit now and work on the grading for this, how to make it darker. So to make scenes darker, you have to learn 2 effects: levels and curves. We're going to mainly use these 2 effects. You can use other effects like exposure, brightness, contrast, but in my opinion, levels and curves gives you a bit of an edge and has a big advantage. So add levels and curves. Okay, so just a quick guide how levels work. So this histogram or this waves or whatever you call it represents the pixel of your image. So you can see the most pixels of the image are white. You can see there are a lot of whites in this area. So the spreading of the whites are much bigger. Then there are some midtones, the darkish blue color, and there are very few blacks. You can see there are almost no pixels on the black areas. So this is how levels work. So I'm gonna just move this slider and drag it towards the right side. So basically what I'm doing is I'm making sure that most of the pixels are now black, are coming towards the black. If I move this slider towards the left, it will the whites will become more brighter. So this way you can adjust contrast and darker areas, and this controls the midtones. So I'm just gonna, so this is again purely experimental. Mess with this and see whatever looks best for your scene. So this is my levels done almost, maybe something like this. Yeah, and now we're gonna add curves. A quick guide to curves is when you go down to the curve, you're going towards the darker areas, and when you're going up towards the curves, you're going towards the brighter areas. So this is where you control your highlights, this is where you control your shadows. So just tweak up the settings a bit by using curves. I'm just gonna do this, something like this. So okay, this is a small curve. Again, depends upon your scene. Just don't copy paste this, please. Okay, so basically once you understand the concept between levels and curves, you're gonna have to do same with the distances and the grass and make it blend more. Okay, one big thing you can see, the edges are trying to show up. Just increase the feather and that should do it. Just increase the feather by a bit. Same for this, about 70 or 80, whatever thing you think is the best for you. So I've adjusted the highlights and the shadows for the distant hills. You just do the same for the grass and for the character, and I'll get right back to you. This is my final scene after adjusting the highlights and the shadow of the whole clip. As you can see, it looks so incomplete and doesn't look at all like a night scene, but bear with me. After this, we're gonna manipulate the light sources and the darker shadows. So what do I mean by light sources? As you can see, in this whole clip you cannot see a light source. There is no sun or there is no moon or something, but if you look closely you can see this grass area is much lighter in comparison to this area. So we can assume that our sun or our light source is somewhere here and it's shining over the character. So manipulating light sources, so you just have to make solid and mess with the blending modes a bit. So how do we do this? I'll go make a new solid. I'm going for a night scene, so I'll choose a lighter blue, a cool lighter blue, something like this. Okay, I'm just gonna hide the solid layer and mask the area I wanted to highlight. So just a rough mask, you don't need to be accurate with this. It's not gonna help being accurate. I'm gonna mask over the character too because I want it to be in highlight and to be the main focus of this scene. So the mask is done. Okay, this looks very bad, but increase the feather a bit and mess with the blending modes. Again, the blending modes is also purely experimental. Just for your sake, 4 main blending modes I use are add, lighten, overlay and soft light. You can use color dodge too, but I'm just gonna experiment with this. Maybe overlay. No. Okay, this is the look I want. Soft light. As you can see now, this is much brighter and there's like a lightish blue light source according to the night. We can say there's a moon here now. You can turn down the opacity a bit and mess with the feather a bit more if you think it's too extreme. I'm just gonna turn down the opacity a little bit, maybe 80. Yep. And now you can see the difference, like the light source, how it emphasizes the scene and the main object. So again, now for the shadows, so we want this part of the sky to be dark. You can see this above part, and a night scene it would be like a blackish one. So I'm just gonna make a new solid. I'm gonna choose the color something blue, something like a darkish blue, something like this. And again, I'm gonna hide this. I'm gonna make a rough mask and it's the same procedure. Mess with the feather, change the blending mode. Again, soft light looks best with this. Turn down the opacity a bit, and yep, we're done with the sky too. So this is overall at manipulating the light sources. Now on to the color grading and color correction of the scene. This is also a key important part. I would like you to understand this and just not copy paste values. Now on to the color grading of the scene. For the color grading, I'm just gonna add some Lumetri color. This is a cool effect for basic correction. If you want to do it, you should mess with this. I'm just not gonna go advanced for the sake of tutorial. So for the basic correction, I'm just gonna turn the temperature a bit down, not too much, something like -23. Because the night scene is a cooler scene if you think about it. I'm just gonna tone down the exposure a bit, maybe -0.6, and turn down the shadows a bit. I don't know about increasing the highlights, but yeah, just a bit. And I'm just gonna desaturate it, maybe 88, something like this. Okay, this is now looking more towards the night scene, as you can see. Now we're just gonna add magic bullet looks. This is a plugin, make sure you have it. So go into looks, add some HSL colors. So for a night scene, you basically want the greens to be a lightish blue color. So drag this point or whatever you may call it and push it towards a lightish blue. So you can definitely see this now more looking towards like a nightish scene, something like this. You can mess with the values here if you just want to be more accurate. I don't want to be desaturated that much, so I'm just gonna turn up a saturation a bit, like -13 would do. Okay, after you're done with HSL colors, you can add colorista, some other things. It's totally up to you. I'm just gonna add a duotone, and I'm just gonna make this a bluish tone, so you can see the difference now. It looks more blue. for night scene, I guess. And basically you can add something more if you want to, some LUT, and just I don't know if some LUT would look good, like a blue unity, or I don't know, maybe I just add blue unity and turn the strength a bit down, like 40 might do it. So you can definitely see some major improvements after we have added looks. So okay, I'm just gonna do this for now, and now maybe turn the exposure a bit down more. Okay, no, 0.7 is all right, I think. Okay, now you can tweak it up a bit by adding particles in a distant background. For this, I'm just gonna add one more thing. I'm just gonna do this. The light source we did, it's not looking that much great, as you can see. Like, I'm just gonna turn the bit more, turn the opacity up to 100. And let me check. Yeah, it looks great now. And now I'm gonna add, for the sky, I'm not satisfied with the sky. I'm just gonna turn down the exposure for the sky. I'm gonna add elementary color again for the sky, and turn down the exposure minus 1.4 might do it. Yes, now you can see this is looking a complete night scene for now. And now tweak it up a bit by adding particles, depth of field. You can do whatever you want. This is purely experimental upon your scene. You can add contrast more. So this is my final night scene. I added a depth of field layer, some particles with this, and manipulated the light source a bit more, changed the color by adding fill. So I hope you enjoyed this, and comment down below for some more tutorials or for some more ideas you want me to make. And bye.